Hey guys, it's Senator again. Welcome back to another video. And today, I'm back with another Need for Speed topic, and this time this is probably gonna be one of my last Need for Speed topics for a little while, just because I've had the car wishes video and everything Need for Speed related, and yeah, so I'm gonna jump straight into this before I get kind of sidetracked. So, because this is going to be a really long video, I have a lot of things to talk about, so please sit back and enjoy it, because I have a lot of good things to say, and some constructive criticism for Ghost Games, because after I upload this, I'm going to send it to them over Twitter, as well as Need for Speed, so I'm going to jump straight into this. Alright, so the first thing is an MMO, or half online slash offline, and basically what that means is be another Need for Speed World, or be like Need for Speed Rivals, where you have the option to either be offline or online. So that's one thing I have. For me personally, I would like to have an MMO. That'd be just a really cool aspect. Another thing is, if you guys don't know, I don't want a sequel to Need for Speed Underground 2. I want a Need for Speed Underground or Most Wanted or Carbon style of game. Like I don't want a sequel to Underground 2 or Most Wanted. I want a complete different story. I'll get into the story later on, so just to clear that up. Just because the title of the video is my take on Need for Speed Underground 3. I do not want a sequel to Underground. I just think that, Ghost will get more sales, or Ghost and EA will get more sales if they do call it Underground 3, and if it is inspired by the Underground series. And the game that I dreamt of in this video is inspired by Need for Speed Underground. So yeah. The other thing is the open world, or open world or a track racer, and honestly I would have an open world. I don't want a Need for Speed Underground 1 type of game. I kind of want open world, and that would just fit to what Need for Speed has been as of late, as an open world racer, because as you guys may know, Hot Pursuit was not an open world game. It was it was a track racer pretty much. Alright, and the other thing that I'm going to breeze through is put free roam to good use. By that I mean, like, don't make us make us drive to the event. Don't make us jump to the event. So yeah, just put freedom to good use, and yeah. So there's also, along with that, putting free roam to good use, I don't want to drive to a race and be all of a sudden pursued by the police. And here's something that really bothered me in Rivals, and that is, have a good reason for the police to start pursuits with you. Because I was just driving around with some friends, and all of a sudden just a pursuit happens, and there's no reason for it. Like, say for example, I'm gonna go AFK for a couple of minutes, and all of a sudden a police car just comes right on behind me, and engages in a pursuit. I didn't like that. I feel like you'd have to have a reason to start a pursuit. Like, say if the person was recklessly driving, yeah, then start a pursuit. Or say if someone was going over the speed limit of, say 90 miles per hour, then chase them. I see that. That actually makes sense. And along with those, the police starting with pursuits, should this game be cops versus racers? By that I mean, should it be like a Hot Pursuit rival sort of game? I don't want that. I want it to be racers only, but I want to have police AI. I'm not one of those people who want racers only. I want cop AI in it to make it a little more interesting. I don't want to be a cop in the actual campaign itself. Another thing that they did really good, except for repairing the car, was buying the cars with in-game currency again. I really like that. It was just a little too easy to buy cars, just because they were all unlocked from the start, or most of them were. And another thing is repair a car using in-game currency. I don't like the fact that we have to drive through a repair shop, and that all started in Need for Speed Most Wanted. I didn't like that. I feel like, if I'm going to repair my baby, I'm going to repair my car, I want to repair it using my actual money in the safe house. or the hideout, whatever you call it in this next Need for Speed. Another thing was the progression. This is where we're going to really dig deep into the actual interesting parts of this, because that first part was kind of just constructive criticism for Ghost games. The progression. You should be able to start off with, say, an IS-300 Lexus, or a, what's another really crappy car to start with? You know, start with a really low graded car, like I said, for example, an IS-300, and you get to build off of that car by adding performance parts to it and whatnot, you know. And that could, you know, compare to some higher end cars. Say if you tune up that IS-300 and compare it to an Aventador. I want to be able to race an IS-300 against an Aventador. Although that may not sound like the most, you know, logical thing, it's an arcade racer. Really, anything can happen in it. So I just think it would be cool if a tuned up IS-300 could go against an Aventador. So yeah, there's that. The other thing was an expansive car list, and you know, this is gonna be this has to be a thing in Need for Speed. Well, if they are making Underground 3, this is my take on Need for Speed Underground 3, by the way, or it's my dream Need for Speed. And like I said, also at the beginning was criticism for gross games, but yeah. So I want an expansive car list. I want classic muscles, modern muscles, classic exotics, modern exotics, classic tuners, modern tuners, so on and so forth. List goes on. I want an expansive car list, and I want to, you know, buy every car in the game. So yeah, that's basically what I want out of cars. I already had my car wish list, so I don't really have to go into detail. But yeah, that's all I want from cars. Alright, and here's another thing, and that is customization. Cosmetic and performance. You know, performance customization, I feel like they touched on that very, very vaguely. You know, I want to performance, like, I want to customize my car and how it performs. I want to customize the engine, the transmission, the suspension, ECU, the exhaust, etc., etc. I want to customize those performance parts, and I want to upgrade my car that way. So say, for example, at the beginning of the game, you have unlocked the race performance, or you have the street performance parts, and as you level up, you get to unlock, say, a pro or a race performance part, and that's how you get to build onto your car. And as far as cosmetic customization, I think the crew did a great job of not going completely overboard, because I know Underground 2, I don't want that style of customization. I mean, of course, I want to be able to race cars, but you know, I think boomboxes and like the back of the trunk of the car, like stereos in the back of your car, is just, it's so early 2000s. It's not really cool anymore, so I wouldn't really do that. But I mean, the crew did a good job of doing cosmetic customization, so yeah. As far as a story, I want a story where I feel connected with the actual characters. So say, for example, you hired some actors in front of a green screen, and you made them, you know, do parts of the campaign for you. You know, animating it is also an option, but I would really like, you know, feeling connected with actual people. Say, for example, in like Carbon and Most Wanted, I met Nikki, and she was an actual character in the game, like an actual human being. I felt connected with the characters inside of the game just because they were human beings that you were connecting with instead of cars. Unlike Rivals, where the only character that I really knew was, I think it was Zephyr, and he was a car. It wasn't even a character. So I want to feel connected with other characters in the game. Here's another thing also, is the map. I want a varied map. I want it to be extremely varied. Maybe not the crew sized, but I want, you know, some varied terrain. So say, for example, inside of this map, there's 2 cities, alright? And in between those 2 cities, it's divided by a mountain, and in between those 2 cities, say, for example, you had 6 mountain passes to go through. so that connect the cities. And this is actually going to lead to a game type that I have later on, a dream game type that I want to see back in the next Need for Speed, and that is doing drifting and canyon duels. But anyway, let me finish what I'm saying about the map. So I want 2 cities, and divided in between them, I want to see a mountain range, like a very small mountain range, though. So say, for example, there's 6 mountain roads that you could connect to either city, and on all of those mountain roads are about 6 to 10 miles long. They're not extremely long, but they're not extremely short. And on the outside of the map, I want some country roads to like zoom you around, like have some top speed tests. And inside those mountain ranges, I want to see how my car drifts. I want to see how my car handles. I want to see, I want to do togeys, that sort of thing. I want to be able to do different things with that terrain. So say, for example, I get to test my car's handling. I can have some intense races inside those close quarter cities, and outside of those cities, in the country roads, I get to have some high speed pursuits and high speed races on the outside. And in between there, I get to have my little drift competitions. I think that would be really cool. And leading on to the final topics, and that is the game modes. Like I want to see these ones back, especially is lap knockouts, speed traps, canyon duels, drifts, races, racing leagues, and pink slips. Pink slips aren't really a thing in Need for Speed, but I'll touch on that later on. Lap knockouts, you basically have like 4 players in a race, and every lap, the person who came last gets knocked out of the race. So say, for example, I have 3 laps in this race. So I go around 1 lap, the 4th place person gets eliminated. Go around another lap, 3rd place person gets eliminated. And then the last lap, the 2nd place person gets eliminated, so the 1st place person wins. That's basically how lap knockouts are. Sprints and circuits, I still want in the game. That's pretty much always been in Need for Speed games. Speed traps is basically where you have a bunch of cameras set up, and they record your speed, and say there's 6 speed traps in the event. So every time, like say I got 130 miles per hour on the first speed trap, and the second speed trap I got 140. So add 130 to 140 together and you get 270, and it keeps on adding onto it until the end of the race. That's what speed traps basically are. In canyon duels, I want to, like, this is going to connect with the mountain ranges I was talking about with the map. You race down a canyon or a mountain. You race down a mountain, and once you lead, like say if you lead by 100 feet, you get like 10,000 points a second. Canyon duels are really hard to explain, and they take a long time to explain, so I would just do some research on what canyon duels are back in Need for Speed Carbon. But they have a really cool concept behind them. I really want to see that in a Need for Speed game if you actually do have a mountain range. And then the other thing was drifting, which should also be in the mountain range, or in a track that I was going to talk about. That's one thing I forgot about the map is inside of the map, or on the outside somewhere, you should have a racetrack where people can, like a huge like race. I wouldn't even call it a track. I think it's a race course. I'll put an example on the screen right now. That's Need for Speed Carbon's little, I think it's called I don't know, it's just a race course. I don't know what you'd call it, but you could do drifts inside there, and you could do your track races inside there. That could be pretty cool. But yeah, so I want to see some drifts in, like say for example the mountain ranges or the track, like I said. Racing leagues also is a thing. For example, back in Need for Speed Underground, you had the Underground Racing League, and you go to a track and you race. That's pretty much it. So that's pretty cool. And the final thing out of the game modes is a pink slip race. So, say if I had a Nissan 370Z, and I went up against a Ford GT. if I win that race inside of my Nissan 370Z, I should get his Ford GT. I want to have like sweat, blood, and just everything put into that car, and if I lose, I'm gonna be like the saddest person on the planet. But that's the thing though, is if we do buy a car, hopefully we could buy it again. Like say if we could have 3 different cars and all 3 of them are tuned for different things. So say if one was for drifting, another one was for top speed, and another one was for handling. Just an example. But yeah, so I want pink slips and Need for Speed. That would be pretty cool. And the final thing is obviously cops are going to join races. I want to see that in like sprints and circuits. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, this video has gone around for almost 15 minutes. This is pretty much my take on Need for Speed Underground 3. And this is basically my dream Need for Speed. This is what I would want in my dream Need for Speed. And obviously there's going to be a few other very small very small features in the game, but I think this video has gone on for far too long. But other than that, guys, if you guys did enjoy or agreed, leave a like, and if you disagreed, leave a dislike. And I'm interested. What would your guys' dream Need for Speed be? That's my question for you. So leave it in the comments, and I'll read it. I'll read through it. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video, guys. Goodbye.